The Soviet Union had a big secret, and it wasn't just about spies. The Cold War era was a time of intense rivalry and clandestine operations, with both superpowers vying for supremacy, not just on Earth, but in the vast expanse of space. In 1960, the Soviet Union was racing to dominate space. The space race was more than just a quest for technological advancement. It was a battle for ideological superiority. The Soviets wanted to prove that their system was superior by achieving milestones in space exploration. But in the rush to outdo the Americans, a colossal disaster struck. The pressure to succeed was immense, and corners were often cut in the name of progress. This led to one of the most tragic and lesser-known events in space history. October 24th, an ordinary day at the Baikonur Cosmodrome, became a nightmare. The Baikonur Cosmodrome, the heart of Soviet space endeavors, was bustling with activity. Engineers, scientists, and military personnel were all focused on a critical test. Marshal Mitrofan Nedelin, a bigwig in Soviet rocketry, was overseeing the testing of an intercontinental ballistic missile. Nedelin was a key figure in the Soviet missile program, and his presence underscored the importance of the test. Suddenly, the rocket ignited on the launch pad. Without warning, the situation turned catastrophic. The ignition was premature, and there was no time for anyone to react. A massive fireball erupted, engulfing everything and everyone nearby. The explosion was so intense that it obliterated the launch pad and everything in its vicinity. The heat and force were unimaginable. The result? Over 100 people lost their lives, including Nedelin himself. The casualties included some of the brightest minds in Soviet rocketry, a devastating blow to the program. This wasn't just a technical glitch, it was a tragedy born from haste and pressure. The relentless drive to outpace the Americans had led to a fatal oversight. Safety protocols were ignored and the consequences were dire. The Soviet government immediately clammed up. In typical fashion, the authorities decided to keep the disaster under wraps. Admitting to such a failure was unthinkable. No press, no acknowledgement, nothing. The media was tightly controlled and any information about the incident was suppressed. The official narrative was carefully crafted to avoid any mention of the catastrophe. Families were told their loved ones died in a plane crash. This cruel deception added to the tragedy. As families mourned under false pretenses, never knowing the true circumstances of their loss, the truth buried under layers of secrecy, the Soviet regime was adept at hiding its failures, and this disaster was no exception. It would be years before the full story began to emerge. It took years for the Soviets to bounce back from this catastrophe. The loss of key personnel and the blow to morale were significant setbacks. The program had to be rebuilt from the ground up. Engineers had to redesign rockets, rethink safety protocols, and rebuild confidence. The lessons learned from the disaster led to significant changes in how the Soviets approached their space program. But the shadow of the Nedelin catastrophe loomed large. The memory of the disaster haunted the program, a constant reminder of the cost of ambition and haste. Only decades later did the world learn the full story. As the Soviet Union began to open up, details of the disaster started to surface, revealing the extent of the tragedy and the lengths to which the government had gone to conceal it. So next time you think of space history, remember this hidden chapter. The Nedelin Catastrophe is a sobering reminder of the human cost of the space race, a story that deserves to be told. The cost of ambition can sometimes be too high. The drive to achieve greatness can lead to devastating consequences if not tempered with caution and respect for human life. And there you have it, the secret Soviet rocket disaster that history almost forgot. It's a tale of ambition, tragedy, and the relentless pursuit of progress, often at a great human cost. Like, share, and subscribe for more untold tales from the past. Join us as we uncover more hidden stories and forgotten chapters of history, bringing to light the events that shaped our world.